Hello and welcome to Katrina's Creations. Today is going to be a tutorial to make these baskets. They're both pretty good sized. You can see, well, you can probably see from the back a little bit better. And they are reinforced with clothesline. Now, I had made a video quite a while ago, a couple years ago actually, on how to use clothesline to reinforce your basket so they stand up. And I just recently, it's actually one of my most watched videos, but I just recently had somebody ask, would I consider making a tutorial on how to make the basket itself, not just how to crochet around the clothesline. I never thought about doing that, so that's what we're doing today. So here is the one basket. This is the one I'm going to be making in the tutorial. And as you can see, it is pretty good size. They're both about the same size. Here's the other one. And they have a handle that's incorporated. So let's get started. Items you are going to need are going to be a skein of yarn or 2 skeins of yarn. You're going to be holding them together, okay? And you will need a crochet hook. This is a 7mm. I will put the size down below here in the US sizing. And you will need clothesline. The clothesline that I used was cotton clothesline, so that way the entire basket is washable. You can use vinyl clothesline, but it's not going to wash real well. I believe it was, I don't remember the width of it, it was your average size clothesline. And I think I had about 50 feet is what I used. So you might have, depending on your tension, you might have a little less or a little more. So roughly around a 50-foot line of clothesline. And I think I got 2 out of it. I'm not positive because it's been a couple years since I made it. I know that what I made this with was not a full 50 feet of it. But yeah, so anyway, let's get started, and I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get started on this whole thing. Because this does crochet up fairly dense to begin with, we are not going to be using the clothesline until we get to the sides, because the center doesn't have to be as stable as the sides do. So we're going to be getting started by making a magic loop. So we're going to hold the 2 yarns together. I'm going to hold that with my finger here. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers once. Move it over here a little bit. Once and hold it. And when I come around the second time, I want it to form an X. And then I'm also going to just hold that with my thumb. So you can see there's an X here. Let me separate it so it's really, you can see it. Okay? I'm going to use the crochet hook, go under the right side of the X, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then loop back on itself and go in between the X right here. Once again, grab this right side and then pull it through the other 2. So that is going to become my magic loop that I will then pull tight, and I will have a tight circle when I finish. So I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do 11 single crochets around in the loop. So we'll get started. Don't want this tail to get caught up in the crochet. So there is 1. The first row is always the most fiddly, and I find I hold my crochet hook like this for the first row, and then I tend to switch and hold it like this. I don't know why, that's just what I do. So we'll start number 2 with a single crochet. Like I said, you're going to put a total of 11 single crochets and 1 chain up. So it'll be a total of 11 posts when you're finished, or 12 posts when you're finished. All right, so I have the 12. I'm now going to take the tail of the magic loop Make sure my stitches are all lined so they're not twisted. And I'm going to give it a pull. You can see it's drawing the ring in. And then you are going to join the ring just by picking up that chain up and doing a slip stitch. There you go. So now it's joined and you have your first row. You can pull that tight once again. You want this to stay nice and tight. Sometimes I actually will tie this in a knot, kind of thread it through a stitch or two and then pull it so it stays nice and tight. You're going to chain 1. That counts as your first single crochet. And then you are going to, into the next stitch, so this is your first one, into the next stitch, you are going to put 2 single crochets. So there is 1, and here is 2. The next stitch you're going to put 1 single crochet. The next stitch you're going to put 2 single crochets, and you're going to continue on around until you have 1 chain up and 17 single crochets. So I now have 1 chain up and 17 single crochet. I'm going to slip stitch to join the round together. I'm going to chain 1. And this time I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Then I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, and then I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. I'm going to repeat it again. I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch, another single crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets. So it is 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets. You will have a total of 1 chain up and 23 single crochets to go all the way around on this round. And this is round 3. You're now going to join your stitches in the round. We are now beginning round 4. You're going to chain 1 up, and you are going to repeat the same thing that we did in the last round. So it's going to be single crochet, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch for a total of 1 chain up and 31 single crochets. So you'll have a total of 32 posts altogether. So this is number 1, single crochet number 2, and then the next stitch will have 2 single crochets in it. I'm going to go back to holding this the way I'm more comfortable. Single crochet, single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. I'm now going to join that first chain. I'm going to chain 1. This is round 5. And now we're going to be doing 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then the 4th stitch will get 2 single crochets. So this counts as 1, 2. Dinner's ready. My ding just went off on my toaster oven. 3, and now I'm going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2. We'll do that again. 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 2, 3, and now I'm going to do 2 single crochets into this stitch, which would be the 4th stitch. And you're going to continue that all the way around. You will have a total of 1 chain up and 39 single crochets. So it'll be 40 posts all together. I am finishing row 5. So I'm going to take this last stitch and I'm just going to slip it into the beginning slip stitch, or the beginning chain up, and slip stitch it through. Now, one thing I didn't mention is you can make this basket any size you would like it to be. If you wanted to stop at this size, and right now this is about 5 inches across this way, you could. You could stop here and then you could proceed to just building up the sides. So you can make this base as big or as small as you want. I'm going to be going out 12 rows, so we're almost halfway there, but you could make it any size you wanted to. So let's start on row 6. We're doing 1 chain up, and we are going to count, of course, this first as our first stitch, our first single crochet. We're going to do 3 more single crochets into the next 3 stitches. So there's 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So I'll repeat that again. It's going to be 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into that 5th stitch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to put 2 into this stitch here. And you are going to continue all the way around. You will have a total of a chain up and 47 single crochets to go all the way around, and then you will join it at the end. Okay, I have completed and joined row 6. So we're now going to begin row 7. Row 7 is going to be a total of 1 chain up and 55 single crochets. So you're going to chain 1 up, and this pattern will be a total of 5 single crochets into the 5 stitches and then 2. So we have 1 already. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you're going to put 2 stitches into the next chain space. So that's 1, 2. So I'll repeat this pattern one more time, and then you can go on around. So it is a single crochet into the next 5 chain spaces. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 into the next stitch. 1, 2. You can pause the video, go all the way around and join, and then we will be ready for row 8. Okay, I have now completed row 7. I have 1 chain up and 55 single crochets going around. So now we are ready for row 8. Again, we are going to chain up, and this time we are going to do a total of 6 single crochets and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So this counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So there is 1, 2. So you can continue this pattern. You're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches and then 2 single crochets in that 7th stitch. Go all the way around, join, and we'll come back for the next row, which will be row 9. Row 8 that we're doing currently right now, you should have a total of 1 chain up and 63 single crochets. So we are going to get ready to start row 9. We're going to chain 1 up. That counts as our first single crochet. And now we are going to chain an additional 6 single crochets. So it's going to be a total of 7 single crochets in the next 7 stitches. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to place 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2. We're going to continue our way all the way around. Again, repeating the first 7 stitches will have a single crochet. The 8th stitch will have 2 single crochets in it. You will have a total when you finish of your chain up plus 71 single crochets to make it all the way around. So go ahead and pause the video, go all the way around and join, and then we'll get ready for row 10. We've completed row 9. We're getting ready for row 10. We have 3 more rows to go because we have 12 altogether. So again, we are going to chain up 1, and then we are going to put 7 additional single crochets in for a total of 8 single crochets into the next 8 stitches. So we have the 1 is the chain up and then 7 additional single crochet to equal 8. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. If you just heard that bang, our sump pump is running. We've had a lot of rain lately. 6, that's 6. 2 more. 7 and 8. And then we put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So again, we are going to put 1 single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches, and then the 9th stitch we will put in 2 single crochets into. So you can pause the video and go all the way around and join your chain or join your round at the end, and we will get ready for row 11. We now have completed row 10, so you should have had 1 chain up and 79 single crochets all the way around. We are coming down the home stretch. 2 more to go. So we are going to chain up. This is for row 11. And we are now going to do a total counting this as the first single crochet, we will be doing an additional 8 single crochets for a total of 9 single crochets, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So this would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, and this is going to be your repeat pattern all the way around. So the next 9 stitches will get a single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in that 10th stitch. You will have a total of 1 chain up and 87 single crochets by the time you finish. So you can pause the video and go all the way around, join, and meet me back for our very last row before we begin the sides. I now have completed row 11. You should have 1 chain up and 87 single crochet going all the way around. We're now going to get ready to do the last row of the base. If you want to make this base larger, you certainly could. Right now it is about 9 inches. By the time I put this next row on, it'll be roughly about 10 inches across. But if you were to make it larger, you're just going to increase the number of single crochets between the stitch that has the 2 single crochets in it. So this next row we will be doing 10 single crochets and then the 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. So if you were to make it bigger, the next time it would be 11 and then 12 and so on. But we are stopping at row 12 for this because I just don't have enough clothesline or yarn to make something a little bit bigger. So we're going to chain up our first stitch. That counts as our first single crochet. We're going to do 9 additional single crochets for a total of 10. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to put those 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So you're going to repeat again 10 single crochets into the next 10 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into what would be the 11th stitch. Go ahead and pause the video and come back when you have finished your row, and we will be starting going up the sides of our basket. We have completed the base of our basket. I have joined my yarn, and you should have a chain up and 95 single crochets all the way around for a total of 96 stitches.